Hello.
Yes, we are. I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert. Welcome to I Am the Data with Nathaniel Evans, your leadership and just all around wonderful guy. I am your global happiness expert. And I'm all about finding that joy, peace, and the power that we have within to create our own happiness and be who we desire to be in order to further where we have been put here on this earth to go. So
Mm.
with that today, this is my last show, and I want to start it out by saying I am grateful. I'm grateful for Nathaniel for being such a fantastic person. Nathaniel, if you don't know Nathaniel, you are missing out on one of the most wonderful experiences that you could have in your life. So you get to know Nathaniel either through I Am the Data or just contacting him on a personal level, because I can never ever express how grateful I am for what he has brought into my life during this experience of working with him on I Am the Data. It has been one of the most enlightening and elevating experiences that I have ever had as a person in this journey that we're on here.
Mm.
So I am grateful. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for the being here and being able to look out and say I woke up this morning. I am grateful for the breath that I take every day. I am grateful because my youngest son came last night that I have not seen in 4 years. I had not laid eyes
That's
and been able
amazing.
to hug him in person for 4 years. And,
It's a
you
new
know, the
chapter.
last time that I saw him was just before COVID hit. He's from Dallas,
Mm.
Texas. And just before COVID hit, he had come to visit. And then going through COVID, we weren't, we weren't doing any traveling. So last night he landed, uh, and I picked him up at the airport, and I was able to put my arms around him for the first time in 4 years. So I am grateful. So
That's right.
Nathaniel,
That's right.
look, you let
Yeah, that's
me talk longer than I've been able to talk this whole year and a half.
I don't even know about that, but I got some segments to prove otherwise, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, but yeah, yes,
And you know what?
but yes, yeah.
I looked at this title, Jeannie's last show. I said, Nathaniel, act like I'm riding off into the sunset.
You going into the sunset. You got some new things that's going on, new chapters that's opening up, right?
Yes.
And this, I mean, it's like, sometimes it gives you a fastball, but sometimes it gives you a curveball too. So, it's like, learning who you are. This is what makes you a happiness coach. It's what makes people even happy with their own lives and content with their own lives, about learning who they are and what allows them to be content in the world. You know, and I
Yes.
say, and where they can find that contentment at, and is that contentment transitional? Is that contentment permanent? Right? Is that can somebody manipulate you out of that transition that you're doing, out of this new path that you're moving in? Right? If somebody can take away the person that you really are, that you're becoming, right? It's learning about the new realities that come in life. When new people come into your life, you didn't see your son in 4 years, and this is a new experience. This is a new chapter in your life, right? Things that you weren't have experiencing before, things that you wasn't looking forward to before, now comes prevalent. Right? You might look forward to, hey, good morning, mom. You didn't hear that in person in a long time, or hear that voice in a long time in the morning. So these
Yes.
are principal values that that we find ourselves connected to that actually gives us more substance for life.
Yes. And you know what, Nathaniel, I was looking at when I was saw that title that you had said, Jeannie's last show. And I was really pondering on that and thinking about how um when you end something, you can look at it in several ways. You can look at it like this is just the, cut off, sliced off, it's over with, it's, ending. Or you can look at it as a new beginning,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so when something ends and then something begins, and what is so beautiful about our relationship is I know that even our relationship is being elevated to another level. And I understand that. And that's why this is a celebration of what we have been able to develop, because you have taught me so much in our conversations, not only during our podcast, not only during what we talk about on the show, but afterwards and
Yeah,
before. And when I just called Nathaniel and say, Nathaniel, do you have a moment to talk? And he says, yeah, sure, go ahead, Jeannie. What do you have to say? And I enjoy those conversations. They are like jewels,
yeah,
because Nathaniel is, I mean, when you hear, oh, he heavy or he deep or see, that can sound so superficial, because how when people say and it becomes like a click and all. But when you can truly talk to someone that challenges your thinking, someone that you think, oh, maybe I need to give that more thought. Or when you encounter someone that um they have been thinking the same thing that you're thinking, but they express it maybe in a different way,
different
it
way.
really adds to your elevating. And see, and the thing that I love about Nathaniel, we're on that same vibrational level of love for self, love for family, love for our community, and love for humanity. We're on that same level. And so talking to Nathaniel is like bouncing ideas off the wall, or just bouncing thoughts off the wall, and then having those thoughts come back to you in a different form and make you say, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about it like that. So this
Yes.
is not my last show, Nathaniel. I don't care what you're trying to send me off into the sunset like I'm galloping off on my fast horse, in my white hat,
Oh man,
like galloping off. I I'm gonna show up
this
when you
is
don't even think I'm gonna show up.
yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, because this is a transitional, we can say transitional show. This is intentional. These are things that we do in life that's intentional, and walking into new spaces and taking new journeys, comes with a host of different realities that we have to face. We have to have confidence for our new paths. We have to walk through, different uncertainties too when we're moving in our new paths and face some of our fears, of new challenges that's actually going to come up.
Ooh, you
We
said
look
a big
to,
thing there, facing our
yeah,
fears.
yeah, the fears is going to come, as we go into these new journeys, and as we try to basically like stamp our place in the world, because everyone's trying to stamp their place in the world in whatever arena they in. You're marketing, you're a singer, you're author, whatever it may be. You could be a gangster. You still want to stamp your place in the world. Like, I'm the best gangster
Yeah, that's
ever,
right.
right?
You know,
Yeah, you know what I'm
that's
saying. It
so
doesn't.
true.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter where you're at, because where you're at is where you're at, And that's one of the things about this life is that it's created in a moment. It's not created according to the illustration of time that man has created. It's created in a moment of time. You know, the moments of our lives according to the moments of our lives. Like there's really no like major disconnection. Like if you were in a space and you experienced something, you was in a space and you experienced something. Right? It wasn't deja vu, you know, it wasn't optical illusion. It was a reality that took place. And as we journey through life, we have to find those, what I would say, synergies that allow us to continue to move forward, that allow us to continue to make some basically profound decisions for our lives and create
Yes.
foundational structures that we can stand on. Even sometimes you might have to lay on those structures. You might fall down on the structure and be like, oh my God. And it's like, we got you, we can hold you up, right? You created such a foundation that you can take a little nap and, you know, and we got you, don't worry about it. You know, you can't cry out and nobody's going to hear you because you know, these walls are soundproof, right? And we're going to protect you in all ways, right? So, you know, when we moving through this time, it's those connectors that we have to find in order to exist in the world. It's kind of like you study HIV or things of that nature, or any study any type of biological diseases that's out there that enter the body. They all enter the body with receptors in order to connect themselves, you know what I'm saying, to the principles of our bodies. We have cells in
Right.
our body that allow them to connect themselves to the cell. And some of them, like HIV, is able to disguise themselves as an actual recipient and be able to attack us in that way. So it just shows that even with the cells and all the disease that come into our bodies, they also know through intelligence that they need receptors, they need a connector in order to connect. You cannot connect in the world without a connector,
Right. Right.
right? So we
Right.
have to understand, even from the real basic principles of the things that surround us, that something needs to be on the other side of what we're doing in order for it to come together.
Right.
Just can't be you vibrating here by yourself, just waiting to like
That's
nowhere.
right.
Like it just
That's right.
where is the direction? Where is it going to lead you at, right? And where is it going to take you at? And even when you meet people sometimes are misleading. They will come into your space, they will come into your life, and they have no purpose for it. They just come into your space. Like you may have, and this is something that is really people are supposed to be aware of is that when you create a certain amount of energy for your life, there are people that will come into your life just to suck up the energy, just to take up the energy. They're not there to give you back energy or to give you new reserve energy. Right?
Yes. Yes. And that's why so much, and I know sometimes I embarrass you, Nathaniel. I can, I don't. Okay, well, good, good, good. Because that is one thing that it has been so vital in our doing these podcasts is because we work off of each other's energy. I'm not just, I haven't just uh depend on you to pour into me, and you don't wait for me to just, you are your own energy source. And when we come together, we are have been a team, and I really have appreciated that,
And
because
that's
I have known, if I don't say a word, Nathaniel got it. If I
yeah.
don't, if I just sit here and listen, because see, when you put Nathaniel on play, Nathaniel has things that he's been waiting to say since he was in the womb. And so
Mm,
that when you put Nathaniel and he starts talking, that energy. that it comes from him, and through him he has so much to say. He has so much to say, and it's so wonderful to have him as that person that I know I don't have to worry.
Mm,
I have
yeah.
never had to worry about.
Did you said so? Yeah, I'm
I
listening. Yeah,
what?
I was just saying like you. That you had said something about energy source that really like piqued me in a certain way, and I just want to expound a little bit because when we look at our energy source, we have to look at how energy really moves. Like what is the real movements of energy? Like energy untamed is like just all over the place. It's just wow, you know.
Mhm.
And sometimes our energy is like that too because we're so like in so many different places, right, in the world and trying to do so many different tasks and be so many things to so many different people. And even to ourselves, we create certain ideologies about ourselves and identities about
Right.
ourselves and characteristics and things about ourselves that we have to now placate into those things as well as into the world. And we're looking at an energy source, if it's not structured, if it's not an alignment, and it's not controlled, we'll be all over the place, right?
Isn't that so? You
Yeah,
know,
you have to.
and and thinking about that, Nathaniel, about the energy source and being connected to that main energy source.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, it's like it's a transitional relationship. You know what I'm saying? That constantly flows. But see, the word thing when we're looking at life is that we see that we know in a way, most of us know in a way that there is some type of connection from coming from this type of angle, right? But what we forget is that we forget these angles too, right? It's other angles that we forget, and forgetting those angles basically puts us in a space where we're not able to connect in the way we need to connect in the world and certain things, right?
And
So
you know
it's
what? I
like,
just had a thought, Nathaniel. I think, isn't it interesting that, and I think that because we both understand where our main energy source is, that life force, I think that that has a lot to do with how people interact with each other when they have that connection and understand that about the fact that, okay, we are each individuals, but it's like there are individual lamps in your house. you know in your living room there's a lamp, in your bedroom is a lamp, but they're drawing from that same energy source to give off that same light.
that's correct. That's correct. They're not, even though you have compartmentalized them for your own convenience, they're not compartmentalized. They're one and the same. And we do that the same thing in our lives. We don't know how to keep things focused in other ways. And we actually, because like money is a source of energy, right? So when people make money, money becomes a source a lot of times in this society, the source of your primary energy. You use money as your primary source. And you forget the primary source that allow you to get to the money. So the source that allows you to get to the money actually takes the back seat as you take on this imposter of your true energy source and use this energy source in the world as a space of dominance, as a space of awareness. I'm saying even as a space of creating some type of weird characteristics, or even, worship me, I'm amazing in the world type of thing. And we get caught in these certain type of energies, and we forget that there are other energy sources that's actually prevalent also for our lives. We forget about our spiritual energy sources. We forget about our emotional intelligence energy sources, even our mental health energy sources. And we allow all these things to topple, you know what I'm saying, before us, you know what I'm saying, because we're trying to hold on to this one primary energy source. And when we lose this energy source that everyone is using in the world, it snaps us in half. It
Mm.
breaks us in ways that we can't even imagine. And it takes away gifts of us that it never in a billion years will be able to provide to us.
Right. Right. And
Right?
and when I speak of my energy source, I know that it's the creator. It's my creator. And I, and as I've said many times on this podcast, we may call that energy source different names. We may, put a different label on it. Some people say God, I say Allah, somebody else may say the universe, somebody else may say Jehovah. We have these different names that we call that source of life, that has given us life, that is that main energy that is here and is the creator of all, no matter what that source. Like you were talking about money, Nathaniel, sometimes we make money and we act as though it all started with the money. We act as though it starts with the possessions, the material things that we have in life, instead of being grateful that those things are in our lives, but not worshiping them,
Hmm.
not making them our God, not bowing down. It could be a person. It could be a
Yeah,
person.
yo, I'm telling you, it's so, I ran, and I think I shared this story with you a long time ago, but it always comes back to you because it was a life lesson for me in so many ways. And it was, like I said, it was the Indian man that I had met. You know, I never met him before. I just met him, and it was just something about his spirit, something about his energy. And his son just drew me to him. Like, hey, what's going on with you? What's happening with your life? And he was like, yeah, I'm homeless. I'm in this men's shelter down the block. I didn't want to be there. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I know you want to be there. That's definitely not a place that no man wants to be at. But I said, you got to be grateful. You know what I'm saying, that you can make some type of transition. So you can move
Right.
forward. And it was just showing like the stories he would tell me would be all associated to things. It's like, I made this money. I used to make this type of money a year. On the weekends, I ate lobster and shrimp and this and that, and this was like the highlight, of his life. And then like he had an accident and he actually lost that ability to make that type of money on that perspective. But the energy source told me that he didn't make a loss. The energy source told me, hey man, it's another opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "What you talking about?" I said, "Yeah, man. You was a welder for 15 years. You had an accident. You messed your hand up or whatever. But now you could be a trainer. You can actually just like instruct people. You know what I'm saying, on certain tactics, the principles of how to be aware of their profession and things of that nature." And he was like, he couldn't see it. He was like, "Yo, I'm not. I don't see it like that. I don't. I want to be this, and I only want to be this. And this is all I want to be." And I'm like, "Well, you can't be that no more because the universe has taken that from you. That has been taken from you. That's no longer one of your primary gifts. It was a gift, but it's no longer there, and you can't do it in your wildest imagination. You can't do it again, right? So now you can use
Right.
the other side of that. You was physically doing something. Now you can train. You can't physically train, but you're going to have some interns that's going to physically train. You're going to instruct them. They're going to look at the instructions. And that's how you can actually get back into the profession. But it was met with a space of, I can't move forward. I'm stuck. There's nothing else for me to do. This is it. And that space there was a very detrimental space, right? To the point where the last time I seen him, it was about shoes. It was like winter time. It was freezing out there. I mean, it was cold. And I came outside, I seen him, he had these sneakers on, they had big holes in them. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
Wow.
I'm like, yo, you
Wow.
can't do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? He said, nah, man, when people see that I got holes in my shoes and like that, it makes them more inclined, to give me something, because he was going to cars and getting money. And I was like, nah, that it doesn't work like that. I said, but man, seeing your spirit, he would know to help you if he has the means to help you or the heart to help you. He will help you whether you had Jordans on. It don't matter what you got on your feet. Every man needs something for his feet. And he was like adamant, like, no. I said, yo, I'm gonna go buy you a pair of boots. You know, up the hill, they got some boots for like $40. Let me go up the hill and get you a pair of boots. And he was like, no, because they see with the boots on, they're not gonna give me any money. You know, and I'm like, well, you don't need money if you don't have a life.
But
I said,
wait, and Nathaniel, him walking around out in the snow with improper shoes, he's not thinking he could get feet frozen. Then when their feet get cut off, he's not able to walk. See, and get anything anyway. See, it's
and
really about
which
our
is,
attitude. See,
yeah,
you
and just,
came
yeah,
to him. You came to him, and see, people sometimes people don't understand that angels come to you in different forms. See, when we need something, we are sent messengers, and those messengers will tell it. But if we're not receptive to the message that is sent to us in order to elevate us to where we are to be, then we're blind to that. And all we can see is our circumstance at the moment. What is my
it jumps
circumstance?
over us. It jumps over
Yes.
us, and we can't grab it. We can't grasp it, and we can't because we can't grasp it. We can't connect it to our energy source. It has to be connected to our energy source, right? Once we grasp it, right, and our energy source and ways have to be pulled to it so it could connect and send us down the path that we need to go. And it was just so sad because like one day I came outside, I'm like looking for him. I'm like, yo, I ain't see him in a minute. Like, where you been at? You know, so I'm like, let me go check across the street, corner store. They might know. They probably seen him or whatever. Go across
Mm-hmm.
the street, corner store. Hey, man, you seen the Indian guy used to be over here? He said, oh, yo, he died the other day from a heart attack. And I was like,
Really?
what? Yeah, and I was like, what? He said, yeah, he had a heart attack because of his feet. The exposure from his feet in the cold caused him to have a heart attack. And it's like, well, you don't need no money no more, right? And this world is just so it's knowing in so many things because it gives us so many different insights, but it's also unforgiving in so many other ways as well, right? And to find people in the world that love you to tell you things that you don't want to hear is really important,
And
right?
Nathaniel, you hit it. Tell us things that we don't want to hear. We may
Don't
not
want to
want to
hear it,
hear it, but it is
but
good
we
for
have
us.
to.
It's
We
good
have
for
to hear
us.
it. We
That's
have to hear
like
it because
taking that medicine. I'm sick. I'm sick. The medicine that I need to take is bitter, but it's the
that's right.
medicine that I need in order to heal.
Yeah, the Most High says, if you tell a righteous man the truth, he shall love you. If you tell a wicked man the truth, he shall hate you. Right? So you have to be able to be in spaces where you're able to tell people the truth because you need to know who is in your spaces. You need to know what type of energy is in those spaces with you as you making this journey. Because this is your life journey. And as you're going through your life journey, there is an end result. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can add any name you want to add to it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat. But at the end of the day, there is an end result to this journey. No matter who you are, what you have become, what you have accomplished, it doesn't even matter. Right? So as you're moving through this journey, energy sources that you're connecting yourself to, they need to push you on this journey. They need to assist you on this journey as you assist them on their journey. So you can get to what your peace is and they can get to what their peace is. There is no sacrifice in a peace. There is no your peace is above my peace and my peace is above your peace. There is no any of those things. We're dealing with equilibriums all the way across the board, right? At the end of the day, when I go online, I might put up my different content and stuff like that. And I get different challenges from different men and stuff like that, even women about relationship values and things of that nature, where a man may come into the world and say, I own you,
Oh
right?
no.
And I'm like, and I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Like, who's talking things like this? Like, what's
Woo!
going on around here, right? And it's like, I'm a man. It's like, oh, don't you Relate to what, right? At the end of the day, as a man, I have related to one thing through my path and all the journeys the Most High have taken to. Every time I've attached myself to something in the land, the Most High have taken it away from me.
Oh, and you know what? That happens. That's
Yeah,
what
everything,
happened.
all those things, these ideologies, the way you value, look at yourself, the way you want to look at the world, all these things could get snatched, you know what I'm saying, from you, right, like right out of the wind, right? The different accomplishments and all these different things that you say you have achieved in the world, you can lose those different accomplishments and achievements by committing one act in the world, or by not submitting yourself in the word the way that you're supposed to,
And you
right?
said
These are
attached, that you attached your
attached. That's the key word. That's the objective word, attach, right? Once you find yourself attached to something, remember this, it's a two-way relationship. There's not a one-way relationship. So as you attach yourself to a thing, remember the thing has no emotions, has no insight, no awareness, has no common courtesy, compassion, or any other thing of that sort. So when you attach yourself to a thing, and then you know it's always a two-way relationship. Understand that this two-way relationship is you. You're both of the relationships. You're
yes.
catered to both aspects of the relationship when you become attached to the relationships, and they become draining or overwhelming. And at times when you attach yourself to different things, they become blinding. You
You
don't even
know,
see
there
what it may
again
be.
is a key word, draining. If you are in a relationship, whether it be a friend, whether it be a husband, wife, part,
Job,
child, if you're in
whatever.
that relationship and the energy from that person is draining, if it drains you, if when you leave that person's company, you feel depleted and you feel like you really down, and it has not elevated your vibrational level, then it's time to detach from that attachment.
Yeah, and it do a lot of different things that we place ourselves into and create as a value system over our lives. Even though we know that we walk into the dealership to get this car becomes more important than us. We know that we went to this place and got this chain become more important than us, or this watch, or these different things of that nature. These things become more important than basically anything else in our lives, including us, right? And we'll sacrifice ourselves for these different things. Some man try to take it from you. Oh, you got to take my life for it, and different things like that. That we have put ourselves in unfamiliar situations, right? In order to obtain these things, or even to hold on to a lot of these things that people don't realize this. And I guess I say it all the time. Everything that a man has created, you have also created because you're also man. And when I
Right,
say man, I mean man or woman, right?
right.
It's understanding, you know what I'm saying, that nothing is created of itself. Right. So when you go in the store and there's a cake in there, it ain't the cake ain't just make itself. It's not a magical cake. Somebody made the cake, they made the cake, they put it in a package and they shipped it off, bro. It's like it's not a magical cake, right? All these things are
That cake is there for
processes.
everybody to make.
It's everybody to make. Anybody can go get that cake, look at the ingredients, and go make that cake in their house if that's what they want to do. If you want to make that type of cake and spend your whole day learning how to make the cake, then make the cake. You can do the same thing with a car. That's what you want. You want to start making cars? Get your garage, start ordering some pieces, and start making your car. Like you can do it. People do it all the time. How you think new cars come on the
Oh,
market? New cars don't just drop out the sky. Most of them be like, you know what? You know, the BMW been around for a while. Let me drop the Tesla out the sky now. See how they look like the Tesla. Like, no, it didn't happen like that. Somebody went and made a Tesla. Like, it didn't come out the sky. Like, this is not a God sent gift that was sent to you to comfort you
and
throughout
it's
life.
just one. It's only one. It's only one. The only thing that's unique is you're unique. I'm unique.
Yeah, because you got to drive a Tesla. And they say, oh, the Tesla, it drives itself. Okay, we're going to do a Google search on the people that, some of the people that drove the Tesla self-driving. And some of them people are in jail. And some of them people have committed some grave offenses against other people's lives and injured people, civil lawsuits and everything like that that was held against them, right? Because you have to drive the car. But they say this self-driving technology, and I guess it's going to take a while for it like perfect itself to, you know, to make sure there's zero accidents or maybe like 10% accidents. As long as you're not a part of 10% accidents that's associated to the Tesla, I guess it's okay, right? So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, these different systems have come up with all these different statistics on the low minimum of harm that will be actually ensued by the creation of it, but it would probably be zero minimum harm if they didn't create it at all, right?
Right.
So
Right.
when we look at these different things, we need to understand that some of these things that we associate ourselves to in life, they're not associated to us. They're not
Right.
connected to us. They
Right.
really, in a sense, really had nothing to do with us. We're here. These things are here. We can entertain and play with these things. But at the end of the day, they have no merit. They have no merit. You
Right.
know, when you see men that have done so many things in places that I've been and things I've experienced, when you start talking to them about life in itself, you're like, man, that stuff I was doing, man, was stupid. I shouldn't have been doing it. I don't even know what I was paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? Allow myself to get influenced by this or influenced by that, right? Because when you start looking at a lot of things in life and you start pushing a lot of those things away from your life, you start seeing that, yo, my life is the essence of all these things that I'm attaching myself to. Because I'm attaching myself to these things. They're not attaching themselves to me, right? So
Right.
if I have to walk away from a certain quality of life, I have to walk away from a certain thing in order to preserve my life, then that's what I would have to do, right? It's just like the parable when many people are talking about riches and everybody's screaming riches, 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 riches. But they forgetting passages, maybe, that's in the scripture that speaks about the rich man talking to Christ and Christ saying the rich man is boasting and he's stating that he has done all these spiritual things that the Most High have instructed for us to do. And
Mm-hmm.
Christ read his spirit and he said, yo, you right, bro. There's no denying it. You have done all those things that the Most High has asked you to do. But there's one more thing that you got to do. And you're in there, basically like Flintware. And he was like, what is it? Anything, my Lord. Tell me what it is. He said, depart from your money, give away all of it, and follow me.
Right.
He
Right.
said, no, I can't do that. And Christ said, you are not worthy, and turned around and walked away.
And you know what about that is so interesting, and it's like this in our lives also, that it's not, if this rich man had just said, I'm willing to do that, I'm willing, and had the mindset that I'm willing to do that, he may not have even been required to let it all go.
Mm. But
Because
see, that's the thing. And that's
you're
the thing, too. The other
you have to
perspective of
be
it.
willing.
You have to let it go. See, this is one of the things here. One of the things, okay, people look at it as, Christ itself, right? But Christ is only a metaphor, right? That's not his name. Like these are names people created for centuries, man. It's a metaphor, right? It's showing you something that's so profound that we don't even pay attention to it. Look at this one here. Look at this one here, right?
Yes,
Pay
you
attention to this one
you
right here, right?
because a lot of people
Listen,
think Christ was that was his last name, Jesus Christ.
no. That's all metaphysical. That's all
Yes,
metaphorical. A lot of stuff is metaphorical in nature. Listen to this instruction that they want to use the terminology of Christ to create this type of instruction, this type of illustration for you in life. Look at it and don't even blink. Pay attention to what it's saying to you. This man strived his whole life for perfection, to reach high levels of perfection. In those levels of perfection that he was trying to reach, he earned a good name with the people. He have attained wealth in the land. The Most High blessed him with cattle, beautiful wife, children, right? He is established. He's renowned. He have created all the things on an earthly level that he can attain. He have reached the plateau and surpassed the plateau of those things. And he reached the next level and then denied it for those things that he already surpassed and have already put beneath him. He turned around and denied it. It doesn't matter what it may be. Just what it is. You may say that I'm striving to obtain this and this is what I want. And then when it comes in your face and it says, this is what you want, you got to get rid of this. You say, no, I want both.
And he has said you will not. And this goes back to your Indian friend. I'm looking at your Indian friend where all was taken away from him that he knew. All had been taken away from him, but he couldn't see that it was making a way for him to be elevated to another level.
Yeah, it was creating a new path for him, and it was showing him that because he was making so much money. He was making over 6 figures a year. He was making so much money. He was taking care of everybody that was in his inner circle. His mother, his uncle. He's paying rents and light bill, gas bill, taking people on vacations. He was doing all this wholesome good things. And then he fell. And he fell into the abyss because nobody was there to hold him and nobody was there to catch him.
And this is the same man that was walking around with holes in his tennis shoes.
The same exact man.
Wow. And he could not see the blessing in losing all of that, all of those things that he had become attached to, and that he could come up from the ashes of where he was to rebuild in a whole different way.
That's correct. And he got
and not even a whole different way, but using what he had learned from that first experience of knowledge on that path.
That's right. That was his gift. See, that's at the end of the day, our gifts come in disguises. And this is the story where they talk about Christ and the rich man. Christ was the rich man's gift, but it was disguised. And he didn't understand the disguise. He didn't understand that the things that he have accumulated were only accumulated to take him to the final stage of his journey.
Wow. And he was so attached to those things.
Yes.
So attached to those things that he could not let them go. And that's like if you're drowning. That's like if you are drowning and someone says, okay, you're drowning and I'm gonna throw you a life, what do they call it? Well, I'm gonna throw you something to save your life, and you say, no, I don't want that. I see something else I want. But you're saying, but I can save your life. And you say, no, I refuse to grab a hold of that.
There's something else that I want.
But you're drowning.
That's right. And there's a story that's missing that no one talked about, right? Why they didn't give us a story of basically the aftermath of the rich man turning down the blessings of Christ? Why didn't give us that story? Right? Why that story is missing?
Right.
That story is missing because it's going to show man his grave error are attaching themselves to any form of riches, regardless of what form it comes in.
And right, and and that's not saying that being rich is bad, because I look at the story of Job.
Yeah,
Job
these are
Job
attached.
had
Yeah,
had it all. Job had everything, and it was he lost it all.
he did. He did. He
But
lost it. It was restored, right? And yeah, it's just learning that what is your journey, right? If you're taking this journey and you're journeying this spiritual path, what is your journey? You say, I'm on a spiritual path. Okay, let's go. Let's go on a spiritual path. You got a whole family structured, right? You got your wife, your husband, your wife, your children. You got your whole financial structure solid. You know what I'm saying? You're not missing a beat for the last 15 years. Everything's been on point, and you think it's going to be like that for the rest of your life. And then one day you wake up and say, oh, I'm going a spiritual path. I'm going to start fasting, journeying, fasting, meditating, meeting different spiritual people and all different things like that. I'm going on a spiritual journey. And then one day you go on a train and you meet somebody on your spiritual journey. And it's like, okay, you're on a spiritual journey, me too. Let's go over here. Let's do this over here on the spiritual journey. And you say, no, but I'm on a spiritual journey, but I have another thing over here. I have something else that's over here. That I have created. That I have designed. That has been designed for me. It's waiting for me right here. This is what spiritual journey does to you. It challenges your resolve. It challenges your insight, and it challenges your purpose. When you say you're on a spiritual journey, we're going to see if you're on a spiritual journey, because all these things you created, all these things you allowed to be created for you in the world, all these things you attach yourself to in the world, let's see if they're greater in your spiritual journey.
right. And that
Let's see
again,
what's
you
up with
said
that.
that word attached.
That's correct. That's correct.
Attached. Because sometimes you can have things, but you're not attached to them.
Because you got to realize where you got to be able to call people and say, yo, I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm doing this. I have to take care of this thing here. Right? It's looking at this world, because this world, when you look at this world, it's so full of possession. Right? It's the ownership of things, people, places, and things. Right? I was looking at a clip the other day and I had to make a comment on it, but the lady didn't respond to it. She said that the woman was a doctor. She worked 13-hour shift. She come home, she has to cook for her husband, and she expected to cook for him every night, even after she would do a 13-hour shift. And then the lady was like, oh, but what do you think? What do you think about that? Right? The lady said, what do you think about that? Miss you too, Jeanne. Good to see you.
Oh,
Right?
look, Regina.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
see.
am so
Yeah.
happy to see Regina.
Jean's
Thank you,
always at work.
Regina. Thank you you have been such
That's
you've been with us from the beginning, even before
yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Way back before we even started this, right?
Yes.
So the lady said, so what do y'all think about this? I said, well, this is abuse. And she was like, well, what are you?
You straight out told her that was abuse. How did she respond to that?
She was like, why?
She said, why?
Yes. Yeah, she was like, why? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I really don't know the one that was spiritually, basically ordained to rule over you when they came into the world. Like, I don't know who that person is. Like who spiritually ordained this person to come into the world and rule over you, that you should be able to cook some wholesome 3-course meal after a 13-hour shift. Right? You're gonna get some cornflakes, bro, like, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? You want lactate milk, almond milk, like, you want regular milk. Like, how you want this milk to come, bro? Because
I'm
those are
serious. You're gonna
that's
work
your
a
3
13-hour
selections.
shift. You're gonna work a
Yeah.
13-hour shift,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
then you're gonna come home and cook
Yeah.
dinner every
Let me
night.
hear this. Let me hear this one. Let me hear this one.
Oh no,
I'm
no.
listening.
I
Let me hear
see
this one.
now what I will do, what I would do is maybe my day off, I'm gonna cook a whole big pot of something. I'm gonna cook a whole lot of something.
For 6
Now,
months. For 6 months.
and I'm gonna put it in containers and we're gonna freeze these jokers, okay?
Yeah.
Now,
Got
what
food.
you can do when you get hungry,
Yeah.
defrost it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Defrost
We're
it.
gonna
Here's a
we're
whole
gonna make
meal for you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna make sure you got the right tool to defrost your food when you come home. And then you can heat it up,
Heat
right?
it up. Heat
And
it
heat it
up.
up. And I'm gonna holler at you later, right? That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna holler at you later, right?
And you can say your wife provided dinner for you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she did.
Yes, she did after 13-hour shift. But
After a
all that,
13-hour shift.
yeah. But all that standing in front of the stove at 13-hour shift and making some steak with eggs and all that, and we're not doing none of that. I don't know where you came from, right? But we're not doing none of that. I'm not even trying to hear none of that stuff.
And you know
So,
what? And you know what? See, and the fact that she could not see, but it's there are a lot of people, men, women, all being abused, and they don't see it as abuse because see, abuse is made to look like somebody hitting you or somebody, physically abusing you. But see, they're all forms of abuse. If you talk to me in a way that demeans me, you're abusing me. If you expect
because
me
you
to come
exchanging,
home after working all day and cook for you, and that, like you said, that's abuse.
yeah,
That's
it's just like Jeanne. It's
abuse.
like Jeanne said, I've been on a spiritual journey for 3.5 years, and I'm still trying to find my way. When you're on a spiritual journey, right? Let's say your spiritual journey is that you want to be a doctor, right? You got to put in 13-hour shifts in your internship, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to get your license to be a doctor. So all my spiritual journey, and you mentioned something to me about food at a 13-hour shift on my spiritual journey. My spiritual truth is going to tell you one thing. You're going to have to use Grubhub or Uber Eats, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not playing none of those other games, you know what I'm saying? And we're not doing none of the other games. This is why they created Uber Eats, you know what I'm saying, and Grubhub. And they got a couple other ones out there. Maybe you can be
Look at what
sophisticated and go
Regina,
online and
what
find them.
look
Yeah,
what
read
Gina
it.
said. She's have to go, but thank you, Regina, for being
Yeah,
such a
definitely.
loyal
Uh-huh.
friend to us. And no, and yeah, I know you're not gonna lay down and be like a doormat. Life should be better than that, and it is a two-way street. It is not self-care. Go ahead,
That's great.
Regina.
That's great. That's not self-care. You know what I'm saying? And Regina, you know, if you don't know about it, she's a specialist in dealing with mental health and also dealing with child care,
And
development,
autism.
and autism as well. So when you're looking at levels of abuse and you want to talk about abuse, Regina knows about that. She's been in this field for a very long time and she knows different variations of it. And me, I'm not a woman. I'm going to tell you that right now, but I'm going to tell you this. If I was a woman, you wouldn't be doing no 13-hour cooking, no 13-hour cooking shifts. So we won't be doing any of those type of things, right? Because at the end of the
And you know
day,
what? And I'm gonna flip this, Nathaniel. I'm gonna flip this. See, it's also because men are abused also.
mm-hmm.
Men are abused also. It may be like on let's flip it. The same person that's a doctor working 13-hour shifts. See, if you're not making a balance in your life, if you have a husband and all you're doing is working, and you're never giving that person any of your time, and you're not that, see, that's emotional abuse. That can be emotional abuse. You know, so it has to be a balance in our lives. We should
It
have
has
a
to be.
right.
It has to
You
be.
know,
It has to be. Yeah, because you get caught up and we get caught up in rituals and I got to be this way and it got to be this way and it got to be that way. But life is spontaneous, man. I don't know who created these makeshift copies of life where it's like everything is so scripted, but it's not. It's fun. We have spontaneous lives. We allow our lives to just be free. It'd be amazing certain things that we be doing or going and certain how we allow things to detach themselves from us and stuff like that because all the things in the world needs basically something to attach itself to in order for it, even though it doesn't have the persona of who we are, for it to have some type of essence in the world. And we give it essence. We apply essence and truth to them when they're not essence and they're not
yes,
our truths as well.
yes, yes. And it's the same thing we were talking about being attached to things. See, and that is that same balance in life. If I'm working, I'm going to take the doctor. I'm working 13-hour days.
That's all you
See,
need
to
to
me,
know.
you're abusing yourself. You are allowing your profession to abuse you. Because if I am a doctor and I'm working 13-hour shifts, say for 5 or 6 days a week, I am allowing myself to be abused because, and why am I doing that? Why am
These
I
are
doing
some of the sacrifices that they make, when they go into these different professions, when they call them internships and things of that nature. They make these type of sacrifices in order to,
But
maybe
are
to finish
you
their
really?
time faster, finish up their time period faster. They can get their certifications and go on and do the thing they need to do within their respective fields. But at the end of the day, it's like, yes, this is intentional. Going and do a 13-hour shift,
Oh
saying
my
to get
gosh,
your
Nathaniel,
degree is intentional.
that's a whole
Yeah.
different show talking about um the how we allow ourselves to, because we want to be called, say, doctor, or we want to be called lawyer, or we want to be called whatever these things, these titles are, and we make these sacrifices. But and we make these sacrifices in order
Mm-hmm.
to have this. But is when we get it, are we truly living? See, to me, I'm not, if I gotta work 13-hour days, 5 days a week, and all, and I'm making all these kind of, I'm not giving anybody my best. Can you
Nah.
imagine the last patient you have worked 13-hour days, 5 days a week? That patient on that third day that you see, do you think that patient getting the best? Do you
Tight,
Do you think that
right?
patient is getting the best? And then she done cook all them nights and all that?
No, can't do it. It's all about self-preservation and self-care in spaces like that. If you have to make a sacrifice that, and that's for any woman that's in the world, you have to make a sacrifice like that for your own profession. You can't get caught in another profession as a cook. You know what I'm saying? You can't get caught in another profession as a housekeeper
Hey, you
or
are
any other
not going to get
thing
me caught in a
that
pavilion.
nature.
No,
Yeah,
you,
because they
uh-uh.
got housekeeping services, they got Uber Eats and other things that you can use, right? And you're not gonna get me caught up. You're
Hey,
not gonna have me
Nathaniel,
scrambling and
Nathaniel,
all different type of things of that nature.
Nathaniel, you keep mentioning Uber Eat. Do you have a stock in Uber Eat? I
No,
know
I'm
you
just
have a
saying.
stock.
I'm just trying to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, like, if this is important, that you want some type of three-course meal, they do have these type of things. They even got chefs that come to your house and cook for you if that's something that you're into.
And if
But
you
at the
working
end,
13 hours a day, you should be able to afford it, right?
yeah, or he should. You see?
Oh, he should. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
should. What is
When
he
I
doing
come
all
home,
day?
when I come home from my 13-hour shift, you know what I'm saying? The chef is there. It's some food for me. How about that? Let's
Oh,
switch it around.
Nathaniel,
Yeah, I
Nathaniel.
know. It's time to go. Isn't that something?
Oh, Nathaniel.
Yes, yes.
And I'm not gonna end it with a meditation unless you want to.
Just ending with your words. Ending with your words.
I want to end it with this. See, I don't see this as an ending. I see it as Nathaniel and I are embarking on the journey that we started a long time ago. We've been on this journey
Mm,
for a long time. And you know, when you travel, you may travel part of your journey by foot, you may travel part by car,
mm,
then you may get on a train, and then you may fly. It's the same journey. You're headed in the same direction, but you're just traveling there by different sources.
yeah, taking different
So
venues.
Nathaniel and I are on our individual journeys, and we hooked up for part of the way to travel together on our journeys. He's been my companion on this leg of my journey. We're still traveling in the same direction. He's just going to travel by his mode of transportation, and I'm going to travel another mode, but we're still headed in the same direction. We're still going to keep that connection. So nothing is lost. It's all gain. When I come back to Nathaniel, I'll have different stories to tell him. He'll
Yeah.
he'll have different stories to tell me. And we would just keep growing and we'll just keep elevating. So my mother would always say to me, and, and I love what my mother would say. She would say, all goodbyes are not gone.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
All
It's true.
goodbyes are not gone. So with that, I am going to say peace,
Mm.
peace, and blessings.
Peace and blessing, guys. Ah, peace and blessing, guys. Wishing the best on his journey, and you will be missed. And as far as it shows, blessings to everybody. Be subscribed to IAMTHEDATA. Connect with us. Help us build these algorithms. Meet wonderful people in the world like Jeanne, Mohammed, the global happiness expert. So we can build and just take care of ourselves and get this inner person, intact. Peace, guys.
Peace.